Welcome back to Marvel Maniac, an MCU Aftershow. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest, back with you for episode 201. Still living out the twos. I'm pretty excited that we're in the 200s. And to commemorate, we did My Own Hero, the episode from 2 weeks ago at this point, where I reflected on all the trials and tribulations that it took to make Marvel Maniac more of a steady thing today than it ever was. However, 100 episodes later, we are bringing back a guest. We don't have many guests on the show. My great friends TJ and Dustin, usually sometimes together, sometimes separate. It's been a bit. We got to have them back on. But this week, 100 episodes later, we brought back Ryan Arey of ScreenCrush. If you haven't heard of ScreenCrush, which is probably unlikely, but you might not have, it's a great channel on YouTube. They post theories about Marvel and all sorts of other shows. It's a great watch. Honestly, I usually don't miss a video if it's pertaining to something that I'm watching. And they really go in on the MCU. They're great with theories. And that's why it was such a great time talking to Ryan. A little bit about Doctor Doom and Doomsday, how that comes to be. We go off topic a little bit about Game of Thrones and a little tiny bit about DC. But mainly Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars that will come after it. It was a really fun conversation. And I'm excited for you to hear it, which you are right now. Go watch ScreenCrush. They also have a podcast, but the videos are great. I'd recommend going on YouTube and just watching a bunch of them. They have great theory videos. I mentioned a few in this episode. So without further ado, episode 201, Ryan Arey of ScreenCrush. Enjoy. Ryan, it's great to see you again. It's been almost a year since you last talked to me. I talked to you on this podcast. How have things been going?
Good, man. It's been so busy. It's been one of those years where like a million things have come out and yet it seems like it's just flown by like that. You know, it's great to be back though. Thanks for having me back on.
Oh yeah, of course. I noticed that ScreenCrush is just killing it. And you guys, I think from my perspective, doing all sorts of videos now, not just the MCU. I know you were always breaking out, but I like that you are kind of dipping your foot in a bunch of different shows because your takes are solid. You make me want to watch the shows that you're covering that I haven't even thought of watching, like Welcome to Derry or something like that. You make me want to watch that.
Yeah, we take risks. This month was kind of weird, or has been kind of weird for us, because like the only thing really coming out was Predator Badlands. So we were like, oh yeah, I mean, Predator videos do huge, and the Badlands videos haven't done that big numbers for anyone, not just us. But there's a few new formats we're experimenting with. Some are working, some are not. You know, so
I love that. Well, let's get into it. We're going to be talking about Doomsday today. Pretty broad topic, something that you're pretty used to by now. Out the gate, I just want to ask you a question. My friend TJ wanted to know the answer to this too, and I don't want to forget it. From what I remember, your earliest take on Tony being Dr. Doom, Robert Downey Jr. being Dr. Doom, you weren't the hugest fan of it. Has that idea grown on you at all?
Well, we do have a video coming out soon where I talk about this. Somebody on our Discord server dropped an idea that maybe the reason he's called Dr. Doom is because his nickname wasn't the Merchant of Death, it was Dr. Doom. And for me, you know, like I said, we're going to do a video on this next week, but that kind of coalesced a lot of different things for me. And it made me, because what I've always hated about the idea of Downey Doom was that we don't get the real Dr. Doom. I love, you know, if you read the comics, you know how much fun it is to see these things adapted on the big screen. And I thought it was the movies over like eclipsing the comics too much. But if you do that, that means that we still can have Victor Von Doom in the future.
Right.
But, you know,
maybe a Council of Dooms, maybe like a Council of Dooms type thing.
That's the newest rumor. Yeah, we just talked about that in our video, and it seems like they're just replacing the Council of Kangs. I don't think a Council of Dooms would ever work for the same reason you can never have a Council of Sith. You know, there can only be one.
Got you. Okay, so I want to go right into this recent video that you did, the one scene that fixes Iron Man and sets up Dr. Doom. I thought that was really, really intriguing. It sent my mind in 1,000 different places. You call the arc reactor moment, of course. You call the arc reactor moment Tony's first true vulnerability, and the pepper is kind of what keeps Tony human throughout his story. So without her, does he start feeling more like Doom?
I think we've seen it already. And I point this out in the video. If you want to know what Tony Stark looks like without Pepper Potts, look at Ultron. You know, Ultron was based on his personality engrams, and without that morality to hold him back, that human morality. And also in Civil War, we saw, you know, we talk about this in the video, but we saw what happens to Tony and his moral judgment whenever Pepper's not around. He just kind of goes astray.
Yeah. Do you think that he would in any universe take the side of Steve Rogers in Civil War and the Avengers stay together?
Absolutely. Especially if the events of Age of Ultron hadn't happened. If you want to go back and look at the through line, Wanda really screwed shit up when
Yeah.
she gave him that vision, but he was kind of already screwed up. I think that when he went to space and he finally saw a situation he couldn't control, because that's what he's addicted to. In the comics, he's addicted to alcohol.
Right.
In the movies, he's not addicted to being Iron Man. He's addicted to control because he doesn't want to suffer grief again in his life. So he ran up against a situation in space that he couldn't control, and that led to him, having PTSD in Iron Man 3, which of course there's a through line to feeling like he had to create Ultron. He has to keep the nanotech on his chest. And I think that however Doctor Doom comes about, it's going to be stemming from that need to control.
Something about that he's having the wedding in Infinity War. He had a breakup with the Avengers previously in Civil War. If Pepper wasn't there all that time, it's good to question maybe if there even would have been a Civil War, opposed to like the Avengers against like the government or something like that. And by the time the Infinity Stones come around, he might already even know about them. Maybe not Thanos specifically, but like he'll maybe have crossed paths with Doctor Strange or something like that, I'd assume. So I don't want to like stay in one area too long. I overnoted for this a little bit, so I'm going to jump down to another thing, a little hypothesis. I had a thought. Of course you've seen James Gunn's Suicide Squad, the newest Suicide Squad. I know you cover
once or twice.
I know you cover a lot of James Gunn. You talked to James Gunn. I thought that was so cool.
It was really cool.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit? I know it's different.
Sure, if you want. I was putting my phone on Do Not Disturb. Sorry, that's why I was looking down. I keep getting buzzes. Yeah, no, that was awesome. The cool thing about that interview was, it was getting to meet James Gunn. The part of it that I couldn't get out of my head is when he said that he gets in trouble when he watches our channel because Ozu freaks out whenever he sees Doug on screen. So in my head, I'm like, Crypto's a Doug fan. That's kind of where I went with that. I could not, like anytime you do anything big, you're always like afterwards going to be kind of replaying parts of it in your head. And that's the part I kept thinking of, oddly enough. Really? I thought the interview went great. Eric and I from New Rockstars, we didn't expect to be on the same call together. That was a surprise. And I thought we handled it really well.
Oh, I need to see that crossover.
It exists. The same interviews on both channels. We didn't edit it at all.
That's fantastic. It's clear I haven't watched it because I hadn't seen Superman yet, which is just due to streaming. And I didn't get to see it in theaters. I was kind of bummed out about that. Finally got to see it. All that aside, I'm really glad you got to have that convo with him. I'm going to have to go watch it, even if it's going to spoil anything else, because that's really cool. And
pretty light. We mostly talk about Peacemaker and Darkseid theories and stuff, which he debunked. He said Darkseid's not in it.
I guess I'm going to tell you like a wacky theory. Like, you think the Thunderbolts in a sense could be like that opening to Suicide Squad where we kind of have faith in these new heroes. They set them up to be the new Avengers, and then they go up against Doom and just get floored by them. Like, do you think they could be used as that, or are they too important?
I doubt if they're going to do that with the Thunderbolts. I do think that there is a high probability of the X-Men or other multiversal heroes, kind of like what Sam Raimi did to the Illuminati. He just obviously had so much damn fun in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Having Wanda murder them. I think you might see something like that where they're just going to use... look what Deadpool and Wolverine did to the army of Deadpools. I think you can expect to see that.
A bunch of cool stuff is possible when it comes down to that. So what kind of like shock thing do you think like they could do? Do you think they'll like do the Thanos spine thing, or maybe they'll do that to another character? I think of the Russos talking about how they were going to have Thanos throw Steve Rogers' head at the team when he comes back. What if they like do something like that to Steve Rogers? Is that too much? Would they be crossing a line?
What if Doom has the Infinity Stones and he turns Steve skinny again? Or something like that. You could see that happen too. There's that's the thing about the more power you give somebody, because essentially that's what this is. You're giving God powers to Doctor Doom. Right. I think the first thing he has to do is take out Hulk, Sentry, somebody that we just think of as way out of Iron Man's league, his power class, because you want to see that like immediately. Or we got a video coming out about this too. If Jonathan Majors is returning, then
Yes.
that's the right way to do it. You show this arena of Kangs and
I swear that's my literal next thing I had. Do you think they're gonna maybe tie a little bow on that Council of Kangs, that Kang dynasty?
They kind of did tie a bow on it at the end of Loki.
Right, pocket dimension. They said
Sort
something.
of. They were like, yeah, none of them know who we are. It still means they exist, though. I mean,
Right.
even if the TVA is saying, well, the Kangs don't know who we are, so it's fine. It's still like, yeah, but weren't we just told these guys were a huge multiversal threat?
Exactly.
And if you need that, like Thanos at the start of Infinity War, kicking the shit out of the Hulk and Asgardians to prove how tough he is, then, if you need Doom to kill anybody, kill the Kangs. Even if it's just like Jonathan Majors doesn't return for it and use existing footage.
Hey,
that's a really good way to start.
That's a fantastic idea. I hope they put some energy towards that, just to, make a nice little continuity. Like, yeah, this was kind of supposed to happen, even though it wasn't, type deal.
I saw a rumor, well, not a rumor, I think it's confirmed, that the Russo brothers are going to stay on at Marvel. They're going to be part of the the Marvel Brain Trust. They don't call it the creative committee anymore, but they're going to sort of help along the way, which is good because they have a lot of plates spinning out there.
That's really good. That means they can set things up for outside of these movies and move to the next saga, and hopefully
imagine they made a Sam Wilson Captain America movie. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, I wish they did. I wish they did. So, we know Loki's going to be involved in this, and that's kind of like one of the most up in the air things. Like, how is Loki going to get integrated into this movie? And my question to you, just off the bat of that, is: do you think it'll serve as like his final task to get to Loki on that throne, or would it be opposite, like more of the beginning of the movie where things have happened off screen, similar to Infinity War, and Doom goes to confront Loki right out the gate?
I think sooner rather than later. The problem you're going to run into, I was talking to Colton about this earlier today. When you talk about like the Infinity Saga, so those were movies that had self-contained franchises, and the thrill of watching an Avengers movie was you got to watch them all interact. You'd already seen Captain America on his journey and saw what happened with him and Iron Man, so you get to see how that affects him along the way. With this, we haven't had a sequel in this, right? I mean, Loki season 2 and Captain America Brave New World, I think those are the only sequels within the multiverse saga. It's been introducing more and more new people who it turns out aren't playing a role in the movie. Well, Thor was a sequel, but it didn't have like 2 movies released in the saga. You know what I mean?
Yes. Okay, I see what you're saying.
So it's, and Wanda, I guess, made a couple of appearances, and a few people have appeared here and there, but it's not like we've had a through line of different characters we're excited to see come together. And Colton on the talkback we posted today actually had a great point. He said it's not really a culmination of Phase 6, right? In the same way that Infinity War and Endgame were a culmination of Phase 3. This is more just a sequel to Avengers Endgame. So the problem they're going to run into is the Disney Plus problem. And Disney Plus, I love the shows on Disney Plus, most of them. It's been good to us. That's how most people found us, through WandaVision.
Definitely.
But are you expecting everybody to have seen Loki season 1 and 2? How are they going to explain where Doom is when he takes Loki? Why is Loki sitting in this chair? Like, there's a lot of exposition, and the challenge of most Marvel movies is figuring out how to crack that. Thunderbolts did a great job with exposition. Captain America Brave New World didn't.
I got the chills thinking about Loki, because I just love the aspect of him being involved in this film as a result of the shows. You're right. They have to have that moment similar to Infinity War when they show the Infinity Stones through Wong and that group, where they kind of introduce the audience to them for a possible first time if they haven't seen much of it before. Where for Loki, where it's so integral, it seems like the most important thing. That kind of makes me think, how are they going to do that in this movie?
Well, it's so complicated. I mean, I do it for a living, and even I would take a long time to tell you. I guess you could kind of, if it's a sequel to Endgame, you already have an advantage in that Loki disappears in Avengers Endgame.
Yes.
So it's kind of easy to explain it from there.
Right. You're right.
Maybe they could also do it. Do you remember in Thor Ragnarok when Thor lands on Sakaar and Loki's already there?
Yeah,
we don't need to have seen everything that happened, so maybe that's part of it too. I don't know, but I definitely think maybe even Doom is going to take him out, and then Loki will be thrown to Earth. Doom is coming instead of Thanos is coming, or something like that.
I'd like to see that.
Here's what I think they should do, though, personally. I think that they should find a way to... I don't think Doom should find him first. I think the Avengers they're going to figure out what's happening. They'll probably fight each other when they first meet. They'll all split off into different teams doing different stuff. Thor probably needs to be the person to go to the TVA. I think there was even a photo of a stunt double in the TVA set or something.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
So he needs to go there and meet Loki. So Loki can then explain to this person who, frankly, he might still feel like has higher status than him, to be like, what are you doing? I'm holding together reality. That's when characters explain things to each other, like in the Thunderbolts, exposition works. When a newscast explains random trivia about characters, it doesn't work, which is what we had in Brave New World.
Yes, the news coverage in Brave New World. Yeah, I think that Loki is gonna, if they can't reach him, I have an idea that maybe he'll project himself into the multiverse, similar to how he can duplicate himself in general.
Fun. Yeah, so and he can hop around time too. So I don't know if he'll still have that power or not. He could.
I wonder. I mean, they introduced a lot of different abilities to Loki in that second season, and I mean, I was along for the ride.
I kind of want to watch that second season again. I might do a rewatch. Man, it might be fun. I got a year. Maybe I should just rewatch it all.
You should. It's a big movie.
I've been rewatching stuff anyways for videos. So we've been doing these crucial scene videos.
Keep him fresh in your mind, right? Because he totally is the catalyst to a lot of what's going to happen. Just like you said about the shows versus the movies, and expecting people to watch Disney Plus and get on Disney Plus and watch Loki. It's a little confusing on our end, but if there's anybody I trust, it's the Russo brothers. I feel like they probably have a great idea. I don't think they're stuck in that. Well, the fact that the movie's nearly finished.
It's Christopher Marcus too, who's writing it, right? Half of Marcus and McFeely. I
always
can't
forget
remember
which
if it's Marcus or McFeely. I know, it's terrible.
But
I don't know. I'm not sure what the other one's doing.
I hope the other one isn't in contest to like the script or anything. But I think it's just because he's working on other stuff. To my knowledge, and it's not because he doesn't want to do it, or who knows, I can't really say that exactly, but I'm gonna give you I have a ScreenCrush question for you. Me and TJ, my friend, were talking in general. We'll put this in the middle here just because it's awesome. I don't really know your origin story. You said you started picking up during WandaVision, right? What sparked you to start ScreenCrush?
Well, I didn't start ScreenCrush. ScreenCrush is owned by a company called Town Square Media. Great company. They own a lot of stuff, and ScreenCrush is like just one small part of a vast tapestry. Wow. And I was hired as a video editor for the company, and I was editing videos for their music-based brands, XXL, Loudwire, Taste of Country, things like that, with some ScreenCrush on the side. I just started to write ScreenCrush videos and edit them full-time in 2017. I think the first video essay that I ever edited, it would have been something that Matt Singer wrote. It was probably there were three I remember really well. There was every Easter egg in The Kingsman, Reservoir Dogs video essay, and then there was one that was like every product placement in a Michael Bay movie. It was a bitch edit. I'm really proud of that.
That sounds fun.
It was. I did there's a scene where a Bud Light truck wrecks, and there's Bud Light. And I put little circles over every single Bud Light bottle and ran a counter, and I really counted them too.
Oh, I love that.
And then I think the first video I ever wrote was a smash. Coincidentally, it was Amazing Spider-Man 2 versus Spider-Man 2. But then, I also watched a lot of stuff like that. I watched a lot of New Rockstars and Emergency Awesome. And then with video essays, I got really into every frame of painting and stuff like that. So then it was a little off, a little on, things got hot, they didn't. And then after Avengers Endgame and Game of Thrones happened in the same week, the views really took off, and I kind of transitioned to doing it full time. Had a little sputter during COVID, but then the Disney Plus shows kind of brought me back full force.
You'll send me on a tangent, but Game of Thrones came out around Endgame, the finale?
Yeah, 2019. The Battle of Winterfell happened the same week. Because I remember one of my favorite tweets was a split screen of the Stark kids and Tony Stark, and it said, "Good luck to all the Starks this weekend."
I love that. Oh, man. I wasn't crazy about the ending, but who was? That's kind of a generic
I think that season's got its moments, though. I don't want to get too far off Marvel, but, yes, it was rushed. for like mostly production reasons. If you read, there's an oral history of it, you should read if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the episode that takes place before the long night, when they're all just certain they're going to die the next day, I would put that episode up against almost any episode of Game of Thrones. It's not expensive. They're just in the Hall of Winterfell. It's when like Jaime knights Brienne and all that other stuff happens. Great episode.
They're powerful stuff. I think I went a little too hard on it when it came out. I joined the mob, I guess you'd say.
It still sucks. I mean, it's still got problems, but
yeah,
the worst season of Game of Thrones is better than the best season of, like, I don't know, CSI, Grey's Anatomy, whatever show you don't like. That's the show it's better than.
Yeah, I think you can compare it to maybe the last episode to just all of Secret Wars, the TV show. It's just like, we know this story is going to a certain place, but we don't know how it's going to happen. And that kind of, it's kind of more fortunate for Game of Thrones that it was one episode really, instead of a whole series that everyone was waiting for and, put a lot of anticipation on. When it comes back to Doomsday, though, are there any like big fights between characters aside from Doctor Doom, like, that you're kind of hoping to see? Like,
that's a great question. No, I love that. We've never really gotten, I don't think the X-Men will fight each other, but we've never gotten the Magneto ripping adamantium out of Wolverine moment. But that's kind of a boring answer, because that's the X-Men versus the X-Men.
Right.
Who would be fun? We already got to see Wanda face off against Professor X and saw their telepathy go up against each other.
Yes.
Who else is going to be in that movie? All those damn chairs. It's not a fight, but I'm really excited to see Namor and Sue Storm.
Oh, yeah?
I hope that in the rebooted... Yeah. I think that rebooted universe, I hope that's a little bit more of a thing, that they dive into that a bit more.
I'm excited to see what they do with that. Any Shang-Chi? I'm just thinking Shang-Chi is going to go up against some people, and I'm excited to see him in action again. I can't imagine who he's going to fight. I think I saw like
I guess Spider-Man, if this will probably happen in Secret Wars, but Spider-Man like meeting Deadpool, or Deadpool meeting somebody who's extremely serious, I think is always going to be a lot of fun. So if you do get to see Deadpool meet like a Sam Wilson, who I think doesn't have a lot of bullshit in him, I think that might be a good matchup.
Maybe a little similar to him meeting Ant-Man. He takes it he's very serious, and Ant-Man's cracking jokes and stuff.
Actually, I don't think he's in the movie, at least not confirmed, but Punisher would be great to see Deadpool meet.
Oh my goodness, they could do a movie together. I would love to see that. And we have that short. We have a lot of things coming up that leading into Spider-Man Brand New Day, like the Punisher special movie thing and Daredevil season 2. I don't know where those sit. I don't know if
I'm surprised the Punisher thing is still on Disney Plus. I thought they would have put that out in movies.
They totally
in theaters.
Should.
It depends how long it is, but I mean, it's something everybody wants.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's Marvel also has talked about making lower budget movies, so that would be a good way to start. But I don't know.
Do you think
maybe it's just a 45-minute thing?
Well, we don't know what's going to happen in Brand New Day. I mean, it's the movie right before Doomsday, so there's a chance Tom Holland might not be in it. There's rumors Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man could be in it instead. What do you say to that?
No.
You don't think he'll be in there?
Oh, in Doomsday, you mean? I thought you meant in Brand New Day.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. No, I don't think they're going to do
Spider-Man crossover. I don't know. I think they were trying to finalize Tom Holland. For that, from what I remember. No, I think all the Spider-Man will be in it. I think that we're going to have a lot of board cleaning in this movie.
Okay.
I don't know if that's going to be in terms of deaths or whatever. I think if there's a character who's got a complicated history, we might just see them die. And then they'll be like reborn. Somebody who maybe they want to redo a few things. I don't know, though. They're not doing what I would do. I would just recast people. I just think you need a Tony Stark, you need a T'Challa, you need Steve Rogers to tell these stories. I would just recast them. It's okay. We understand recasting. It's fine. And we just kind of redo their stories.
But they have to do it for the story. It did suck to not see William Hurt as the big Red Hulk. That was something we were building up to. But you can't stop the story from happening. Even though that story was crazy, going off of,
better in the comic. I mean, the Red Hulk that's not the way it was ever done in the comic, but whatever.
Do you think he'll ever come back, Harrison Ford as Red Hulk, or do you think that was a one?
I think he would. I just think, and had the movie been a massive hit, yes.
Yeah.
But I think that it's taking them so long to do things now because they have so many plates spinning in the air.
Right.
And I think Iger and Feige have both said there's some characters who they just won't revisit. Like I would be surprised if She-Hulk comes back for anything titular. She might come back like in something else.
Right.
But
I'm not as
things
aggressive.
that maybe didn't make a big impact and are really expensive to make. Like that's why the Eternals aren't coming back. It's just too damn expensive. You're not likely to see it again.
Oh my gosh, I was just gonna. I actually was gonna bring that up too. That it's such a big franchise. They tried to introduce, wanted to make a big deal out of. Completely, like the audience just wasn't with it.
Well, Kamal Nanjiani said he signed up for 7 movies and a video game. He thought that was going to be the next 10 years of his life. Like he was ready.
Well, I would assume too, looking at the MCU from his perspective there.
Well, the Eternals was weird. The box office was fine. It was fine for COVID. It's just that it was so expensive though that fine wouldn't cut it. And I think they were, they got Chloe Zhao, who just won a Best Director Oscar, for Nomadland. I think I think that when they got nominated for Black Panther, Marvel thought, oh, we could win an Oscar. Let's do a really serious movie. And I think that's what they thought the Eternals was going to be for them. And it reminds me of Pocahontas because Disney originally, like they put out Beauty and the Beast, it was the first animated film, I believe the first to ever get a Best Picture nomination. Maybe Snow White did. And they were like, oh, cool, let's do some Oscar bait. So they made Pocahontas, which ended up being tonally uneven. It was like this really serious story about Native Americans and genocide with cute talking cartoon forest creatures, and it felt out of balance. And the same thing happened with the Eternals, where you have this incredibly talented filmmaker filming these characters, these like really great actors, Oscar caliber actors, on natural light locations on these huge vistas, but then we're also kind of quipping along the way.
Yeah, exactly. The tag in the trailer, the Avengers are gone. We could be the next Avengers, kind of like directly telling the audiences that a little bit.
Spring Collection IKEA.
Yeah, you know what? I totally would be watching them if they brought another sequel out. Same thing with Shang-Chi. I think that's going to happen. I just think it's prolonged a little bit with Shang-Chi.
Yeah, me too. It's cheap. I mean, that's the main reason they should do a Shang-Chi sequel. They don't have to have a big CGI dragon at the end. They can just do a straight up kung fu movie. My hope of hopes, I mean, what I am dying to have happen is he gets rid of those damn rings. I hate it that he's got powers and shit. No,
it's a whole different thing.
He's the master of kung fu. He's the master. Just let him be the master of kung fu. The rings are probably going to be tied into Doom or something like, they'll maybe summon Doom or some shit like that. But like, I think after that, I hope that they serve their purpose and we don't have them around anymore.
Similar to the Time Stone in Doctor Strange, where that artifact is just gone, but there's more super.
And once you introduce that, every single Doctor Strange movie, you're going, well, why doesn't he use the Time Stone to fix that?
Right. I think what would happen if they did keep the rings is they'd have to put him through a villain, like a symbiote type situation where, his dad never died. He's never going to die. How does Shang-Chi keep those rings gold instead of blue? All I wanted to know was if it was like a dark side, light side situation. We're running out of time quickly, but I'm not cutting you off what you were going to say, though. What are you going to say? Sorry.
No. I think they established that in the movie. It is somehow tied to Ta Lo and stuff like that, like where the energy comes from. And that's the interesting thing about the multiverse saga. I don't know if you saw. So Alex Perez is this leaker. He does like a Q&A now and then. His Q&A released today, and he said something really interesting. He said, and if he's right, take a leak or whatever. But he said Marvel's original plan was to do this a lot more gradually. They wanted to release in their slate, have things sort of connect to the multiverse and then gradually tie in together. But COVID happened, and after COVID, Disney. I mean, you got to think how much money they lost just on parks alone. And movie theaters. So they pushed them to put more and more out before it was ready and before it was polished and before it had time to kind of converge and congeal into different things. So, like with the Thunderbolts, maybe that could have come out as the Avengers film at the end of Phase 4. But because everything was so compressed, they now had to juggle all of these actors' schedules at a time when Wyatt Russell is signed on for this Monarch show, when Florence Pugh becomes one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. So it was just too much for them at once.
She's so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like White Widow. Do you call her White Widow? Has she even gained that title? Is that what she's technically called?
Does she get called that in the comics? I know she wears white and
I don't
some.
know. I just started calling
Yeah.
her that one day. I think I don't think I made it up. I must have seen it, heard it somewhere.
I don't
Um,
know. I think she would take on the name Black Widow though, just to like honor Natasha or like to own that legacy. But I'm not sure.
yeah, well,
Natasha
maybe
never
we'll
really
see.
calls herself the Black Widow though. Come to think
It's
of it,
true.
I think that's yeah.
When Clint mentions that Yelena is coming from them, like that's the first time we really hear him refer to a Black Widow. They're more of a
You're
team
right.
than like a at one person. Like she represents the Black Widows in a sense.
You're
So,
100% right. Yeah, that's true.
um, I got two things I want to go through.
Okay.
I just want to know: do you know anything about King Thanos and his origin in the comics? If he even exists in the comics? Do you know who
King
I'm talking about?
Thanos.
Yeah, he's like a part of an amusement park ride at Disney. It's like another version of Thanos with a beard. He looks a little angry. Angry, believe it or not, angrier. He's sitting on a throne with like the Hulk as his pet, something like that. Maybe maybe that's a little more broad of an idea than
No,
I knew.
that doesn't ring a bell. I mean, I haven't read every Marvel comic that's ever come out. Before Infinity War, I did a deep like some of it I'd already read, some of it I read for the first time. Like I reread like all the Infinity Gauntlet stuff, but I also read all of his early appearances. I read Annihilation. There's even one that's not considered canon where he does successfully wipe out all life in the universe and he's just by himself at the end.
Dang,
What's that one called?
that
Um,
sounds pretty epic.
I don't remember a King Thanos. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means I haven't read it.
If I find something, I'll send it your way, maybe.
Yeah, please do.
So I saw a video you did a couple months back. I really liked it, and just in short, it was how Steve Rogers and the Avengers kind of ruined everything and kind of
Yeah.
created Doctor Doom and all that. Um, you argue that
Was
the
that me
Avengers.
or Colton who did that? Did I post that one?
It was you. You were on. I
Okay.
mean, you
He
were
did a
hosting that
similar, I
one.
think he did a similar one on his own channel, I think. So I was trying to like not make it too similar to his, but yes, go ahead.
I like his videos too.
Yeah, yeah, he does a great job.
You guys are a good team. So the Avengers pretty much broke reality in this setting, and do you think that really connects in general the Steve Rogers time heist reverse, where he's turning all the stones? Do you think that is kind of gonna play a big part in the upcoming Doctor Doom story?
Well, there's kind of two answers with this kind of thing, right? So there's like the comic book answer, where in the comics are so weird that in DC, every time Superboy punched a wall in the multiverse, the glass shattered and created a new universe, right? Comics can do the
Wow,
weirdest stuff.
I
So in the
love that.
comics, they could say in an issue, oh, yeah, totally. When Steve traveled back in time, that created this tangent universe. That's one. The other
Right.
thing is in the movies, the rules are different because it has to be more concise. It has to make factual sense within a 2 hour time or 3 hour time span. This movie's probably going to be longer than Braveheart. Um, I
Yeah.
think we're going to see it would not surprise me if if Steve Rogers is in this, he's either going to be a variant or we're going to see what happens after he went to Peggy's.
Right. That
They
final
might even,
dance.
if they're going to upend everything, maybe in
Yeah.
another universe, they're arrested. He's arrested for tampering with time and taken to the TVA, and that's our introduction to Loki. I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah. That
However
sounds
they do
cool.
it, it's got to be easy to explain, or it's not going to work.
Yes, I agree. Okay, I'm not going to let us get cut off here. We got a
Okay,
30-minute limit. I'm on the free Zoom plan right now.
that's all
Um,
right.
it's
Got to
fun.
start somewhere.
It's actually interesting because I feel like we're really hitting a good flow right now. But that's where we take it out at the peak of our conversation.
You should do Riverside. Riverside, it records straight to the browser and stuff like that. But this video is brought to you by Riverside. Guys, we use Riverside for all of our talkback videos. It has so many great options. You can clip your social videos. It's so easy. You don't even have to edit. And now with the new AI transcription, let me take that again. Okay,
You're
sorry.
doing
Go
great.
ahead.
You're
Sorry.
doing no.
Yeah,
I'm gonna email
yeah,
them and say, look, I got Ryan Arey to advertise. It's gonna be great.
yeah.
Just no.
I
But
want to cut.
I gotta thank you. I have so much respect for you and your theories and just you as a person. You're a great hype guy for the MCU, in my opinion.
Oh, thanks, man.
Um,
I think
I,
I'm pretty critical of it lately, but yeah, I appreciate it.
in general, I'm excited to see more of what's going on with ScreenCrush. I probably will just go grab a drink and go watch your Avengers Doomsday trailer news and what the hell is going on with that. I'm very interested too, so I'm gonna have to watch that. thank you so much again for coming on again, Ryan.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
We'll talk soon. Have a great one, and I'll email you that King Thanos thing if I find it.
Yeah, please do. That's interesting.
All right, my friend. Talk to you soon. Thank you very much.
Talk to you soon.
Bye. And there you have it. That is Ryan Arey of ScreenCrush, the man, the myth, the legend. It was amazing talking to him, and honestly, it inspires me to just keep going with the podcast, because seeing how well he made ScreenCrush rise and learning that story about how he came to be on ScreenCrush, I like that origin. I didn't know that, and I thought that was very cool. If you'd like to support our show, we are currently at patreon.com/Marvel Maniac. You may be listening to this at a later date where that URL has changed, but there will always be a link tree in the description of the episode that you can follow straight to the Patreon. I have a podcast called Magic Muggle, a Harry Potter after show, and I'm considering merging both shows into one single Patreon. So look out for that. And if you don't like that, email me, marvelmaniacpod@gmail.com. We have a ton of minisodes stacked up. Even if you want to just become a part of the community and don't want to donate to, or enter a tier, you can enter the free tier where I unlock one old episode from the bottom of our queue from a few months back every week, so you can listen to plenty of what we have absolutely free, as well as joining our community on Patreon. We'd love to have you there. And that's about it for this episode. I'm Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest. I will see you next week, and until then, Avengers, disassemble.